Hey everybody, hello, hello, hello. I just did this recording just now and I forgot to put that attached to it. So when you listen back, the whole sound sounds like it's in an auditorium. So I'm hoping that this sound is on right now. Just about to go out for a bit of a jog. You got to keep yourself kind of in shape. Saying that yesterday, oh man, I don't know about you. Sometimes you just need to splurge, so pop in the shop, see a cake I love, and oh, gotta do it. I gotta do it. So I did, ate the cake. The cake is no more, and neither is the bacon butty. But there you go. You got to do these things. But what does it do? Oh, for me, it gives me the bags come under the eyes, and I feel whacked the next day. So today's the next day. It's up in the morning. I've already had a recording and had to delete that recording. I think the a little bit fuzzy on the camera. Have a look, fuzzy, fuzzy, fuzzy. Anyway, so if I took this off, it's a bad hair day. Never mind. Put that back on again. You got to have a bit of a laugh, haven't you? Put that on right there. And so I'm just going to pop up to Cheddar, which is where close by where I live. The Cheddar Gorge. I'm not going to get any cheddar cheese, but that is where it comes from. I'm gonna get some. What am I gonna get? I'm gonna get some lemons because, yeah, if life gives you lemons, you got to make some lemonade. Well, or you got to put some ginger to it. You got to boil it up. And yeah, thanks Christmas for that recipe. You did some good. And so yeah, and then you put a little bit of honey in there as well. You don't need the Manuka honey. The Manuka honey, by the way, comes from one flower, whereas other types of honey comes from lots of different types of flowers and sources, and it mixes up the taste. Either or works, as long as nobody adds more sugar to it, then that's fine. That's why the Manuka honey is more expensive. Sorry, rubbing my eyes. Anyway, why am I here today? Right, I'm going to make this short and sweet, brief, and all that lot. It's the 18th of March. I'm Kevin Webb on the Power and Control Wheel channel. Real quickly, the Power and Control Wheel is because I have to say this over and over again, isn't it? If you're being alienated from your children, then, or if, I was going to say, if you're being alienated from your parents, itchy nose, and which you are as well. So, children, I'm one of those children, even though I'm retirement age, near enough, or early retirement. Come on. And so, even though the big bags under the eyes, that's what I get for eating junk food. You know, blurry eyes, too much salt, too much junk. Not good. But that's okay. Going to go with it. So the power and control wheel, if you've been alienated from your child, if you're being narcissistically abused, it's on the power and control wheel. You can't go down the rabbit hole of making a parental alienation one thing on its own, but that's what people do. You got all of this thing of it's parental alienation. Yes, but it's narcissistic abuse. When people are being alienated from their children, they are being narcissistically abused. Why do I say that? Well, for one thing, some people say, oh, no, you don't have to be, it's not going to be a narcissist. It's going to be a bloody narcissist who alienates your children. Unless, of course, they're unaware and people told otherwise, they're told and they correct their errors. And yes, that's, you can say, okay, so that's not narcissism behind that. That's just ignorance of what's happening and naivety, so to speak. But if they know and they know what they're doing, then they've got this encapsulated delusion, whatever it is, it's a pathology behind it. There is a pathology behind it. If it's a narcissistic pathology, I don't know, it's a pathology. I'll say it's narcissism all the time. However, steering off track, on the power and control wheel, you have weaponizing the children. It is a part of a much bigger picture. It is domestic abuse, or if you're being narcissistically abused, it could be a workplace abuse, or it could be family scapegoat abuse. You could be the golden child and now the family scapegoat, or the dynamics change backwards and forwards. Or the hidden child, the unseen, the not seen child, is all narcissistic abuse in some form or another. So on the power and control wheel, you got all these different elements which are to do with abuse. So when you're being alienated from your children, or even if it's not about the children, there are many aspects to being abused. An abuser doesn't just use one thing. If you go into a supermarket, you won't find just one item. There's a whole range of them. Never thought about that analogy before. Yes. Think of that as the many products that the abuser uses, the many tools that the abuser uses. Tool hire. That's a different realm. That's hiring a narcissist. Want to do that? Or could you be the flying monkeys? There's plenty of flying monkeys out there, aren't you? Flying monkeys. Some of you may not be aware of it either. Come on, get your act together. So I'm Kevin Webb from the Power and Control Wheel. Please like, share, subscribe. Please do subscribe. Love it when you subscribe. Why am I here? Okay, because I was narcissistically abused. I was parentally alienated. It still lingers even after all these years, 2007 onwards. I have experienced it and I have come out the other side, at least with one of my children he's now a man, you know, and I love them both as well. My daughter, I love them both. I love you both if you see this tremendously much. And so I've gone through the other aspects of the abuse as well. I've been abused at work. Obviously, it takes somebody to, then you look at yourself and say, why I'm the common denominator. Okay, so I was a family scapegoat. I was abused at work. I was narcissistically abused in a relationship. And you go, okay, so I am the common denominator. That doesn't mean that I was the problem. It doesn't mean that you're the problem. It means that there's something about you that you need to identify and you need to look at and change. I think that change means perhaps you're putting too much trust in people. So it's not good to trust people. Because I know Jesus said as well, he didn't trust people. He knows people's hearts. He knows what people are like. So why today? Right. I'll cut to it. One of the aspects on the power and control wheel is financial abuse. Now, the financial abuse could look like let's take it in a relationship, domestic abuse relationship, and or even in a family dynamics. Now, it could be that they are actually withholding money from you. It could be. And a lot of these people, they go on YouTube's or they go in the courts and they say, oh, she's financially abused me or he's financially abused you. There's much more to financial abuse. And I'll do a video on that one. There's a huge amount that people don't talk about. It's not just the withholding of money, it's the destruction of your opportunities as well. That's financial abuse. The destruction of your ability to earn. That happened to me very recently, like very recently, over Christmas. Not that I can say anything, okay, just yet, but took away my ability to earn. In fact, I had a job which I was going into with a good reference from my last school, excellent reference, but then a good reference from who I was volunteering with, and that was taken out and a bad reference put in place, and I lost that job. I lost those opportunities. And why did I do that? Well, because these people are just callous little whatever it may be. But this is why I'm here to talk to you about these kinds of opportunities. And when you've been abused, how do you come back from that? So, okay. So what do I do now? Right. I live off my early retirement wages and a lump sum. I also, uh, I privately teach as well. I was going to teach peripatetic guitar teaching, but that's what was taken away from me, you know. But what the devil does to try to harm you, God uses for good. So what happened now, I don't have to drive half an hour. I just drive 5 minutes away and I earn more money teaching some beautiful kids at home, some wonderful kids at home. I love these kids. And I love, the parents. I love doing that job. And so that covers my costs as well. What else do? I sell guitar repair courses online, and that's kind of what I want to talk with you about. You see, here's the thing. When you're just a decent person trying to get on with things, helping each other, giving your time, your commitment to other people at your expense, this is something you've got to stop doing, okay? You give out, it's the much that you're willing to give out, but not at your expense. Please don't do that anymore. And you can say no. And if people have got a problem with that, well, they've got a problem with that. You know, it's their own problem. And these are the things that we learn. So, and it's the quick recovery afterwards as well. On Udemy, I sell guitar repair courses, and I've been doing that since 2017, 2018, when I started the Jack Goodings channel to try and tell people my story about previous abuse. So obviously, my Jack Goodings was my safeguarding name. My real name is Kevin Webb, and I'm not going to say why or anything because I'm tired of harping on about that for now. And I set up some or created some courses about guitar repair. There was nothing out there teaching people how to repair guitars. So I thought, okay, I am going to use my camera on my mobile phone, and I set up my recording about as rough as possible, and that kind of improved. And I wrote out a structure for what I knew about guitar repair, and I broke it down into different modules. And maintenance was one of them. That was the first one, how to maintain your guitar. And then the second one was how to set up your guitar. And there's a four-part setup that you do, plus checking on your pickups and the sound balance and all. I'm going to be working on that course again today for a reason. So they became really hot sellers. I've sold like over 7,000, almost 8,000 courses across the entire world. And every month I get money for that, and I have to pay the taxes for it. And I'm not promoting the course. What I am promoting is your ability to be able to spring back from the financial abuse. When people have ruined your opportunities for earning, they'll do this. They will ruin your opportunities for even being able to earn money, which is what happened to me in the peripatetic guitar teaching, but that came out much better. And also, I am a somatic trauma informed and narcissistic abuse trauma informed coach trainee. So I've signed up for a master's equivalent trainee course on that to, you know, not to the problem with groups out there, Facebook groups and so on, who are and other charities and other groups out there who are supporting those who have been parentally alienated, narcissistic abuse, is they're not trained. They might have gone onto an Allison course or whatever it might have been and get a level 1 or a level 2 training course, but that's not enough. Or they might receive some kind of other course and got some CPD accreditation at some low level, perhaps, maybe. But again, that's not enough. You have to get trained in this. I've been trained for years. I was trained donkeys years ago and continue to be trained in safeguarding as a teacher and other types of training also in that. So when I was doing that kind of work, I actually was trained, qualified, and experienced in doing that. But that aside, they take away your opportunities. Not only do they take away your opportunities, but if you have been in a relationship and that relationship breaks down and you're having to go to court, now you have to pay humongous fees, huge fees. People pay, 10, 20, 70, 100,000 pounds or more just to try to get their children back. Just blows your mind. Or you've got a narcissist in your relationship and they are trying to get you to quit your one job and go into some other kind of venture. Or they might take debt. Don't go into debt, please. Stay away from debt. You can do this without debt. Getting debt means you can't afford it at the moment. So if you can't afford it at the moment, you're not going to be able to afford it because you're going to be expected to pay it back. Don't go beyond your means. I know people say, well, you have to make an investment. Don't go beyond your means. You can build this stuff up, which is what I did. I'm not in debt. I don't have any debts. And I laugh about that because I think of all the debt that I paid over the years with somebody else when I was in a marriage and relationship. And I got shocking amounts of debt. And the damage it took for me to get out of that debt, it was worth that damage. It was worth having to take that hit to have no debt over you. So, anyway, getting back to Udemy, what I'm encouraging you to do is take what you know and make a course out of it, or take what you know, like if it's baking, maybe teach people how to bake. Or, and this is not one of those advertisements that you see on YouTube, this is the reality, this is true. Or bake some bread. I bake bread. I love baking bread. I love baking bread when I get around to it. And it's so much fun. And go to the car boot sale and sell it. Me and my ex-wife, we set up a cookie business, and it was called Smart Cookies back at the time. And it started off from just mixing in a bowl. And then one day it got to loads and loads of equipment. Sadly, had to sell all that equipment as well. Narcissists go way beyond, they waste. This is the thing, narcissists do not invest, they waste. So whatever it is that you're investing, they'll take that and it'll all be wasted. So now you've got an opportunity to not waste what it is that you can invest and grow on. Take what you know, build something out of it. So these guitar repair courses, I put them together, and like I say, they sell in the thousands. I don't make a tremendous amount of money from it, but I get in a range of 200 a month to 1,800 a month, roundabouts that. And I pay my taxes. Udemy expects you to pay your taxes on that, so you've got to don't fiddle the tax person, okay? And then that all gets paid into your PayPal account or whatever other account that you've got, and you don't have to declare that stuff. You know, you can keep that stuff hidden. People don't need to know about it. It's not against the law to hide it away from somebody else who's trying to see how much you're getting so that they then can play that against you. Don't tell people how much money you're getting. Not even if you're in a relationship, okay? You don't even have to have a shared bank account. Please don't get into a shared bank account, for goodness sake. And anybody that's a decent person will understand that. If anybody's guilting you to say, oh, I've got to get into, you don't love me or whatever, or this is a relationship. It's not a relationship if we don't share. It's not a relationship if they're expecting you to share. So you can have a private personal account somewhere that nobody else will know, and that Udemy money will go straight into there. How do you create a course? Well, as a coach, I can teach you how to do that. I've had awards, national awards, several of them, into how to teach people. I like that one right there was from a course that I did back in 2012, 14 onwards till 2017. And it was European social funds. Well, I wasn't eligible for that funding unless I was either a charity or a limited company. So I set up a limited company, learned how to do that. And you learn along the way that pieces it together. And so I just put hard graft into it. And I used I'm an INFJ. I've got an imagination up there that I can bring out. You don't have to be an INFJ. That's the Myers-Briggs personality type. It's pretty cool looking at them. So if you're not out there fundraising to get money, which I think is cheap, to be honest with you, sorry, if you're a fundraiser, and that's how you get money, just get the money through fundraising. Look, come on, don't do that. That's taking liberties, advantage of people. It's like you're getting other people to fundraise for you. You're taking the money to do what? To raise awareness of this or that, or to give yourself the earnings. Put the hard graft in. So for that one, I had set up a guitar repair course. Oh, you see the community fund right there as well. So that's not a recent sticker, by the way. That's a sticker I had some time ago, and so's the plaque some time ago, and it was mine. I earned all of that lot out of my own initiative, my own ideas, and I set up guitar repair courses in person, and that helped to get unemployed people back on their feet. Use your imagination of how it's going to benefit people, not just how it's going to get you out of your job that you want to get out of, just so that you can do whatever you want and get money for free for fundraising. I think that's ludicrously awful way of doing things. For disclaimer, I'm not talking about any one organization, charity, or individual. Just saying that's, put the hard bloody graft in, and don't go into a relationship with somebody just because they've got money so that you can exploit them. It's exploitation, is what it is. Put the graft into it yourself and don't give that away. I had somebody sabotage that some time ago. It was a narcissistically abusive relationship, which I didn't understand. I didn't know that I was in it. And it wasn't until the end of that that I realized and woke up, and then came my journey to discovering what narcissistic abuse was, which is what I teach on the power and control wheel, because the power and control wheel is narcissistic abuse. And so is, like I say, the little bit about the parental alienation, the weaponizing the children. It's all, there's a bigger picture to it. It's all narcissistic abuse. And this is why it doesn't work in the family court system. This is why it's a criminal thing. Anyway, I digress. So I was earning £1,500 per student for a week, getting several students in there. I'd never done anything like that before, but I was registered with Careers Wales. I was working through the DWP, and you can do this stuff. Like I said, I started up a little business with my ex-wife making cookies. Well, she wanted to take it out of the kitchen and move into some fancy. It was all about. It was all about um, the look for her. It was about, how people perceived her to be. And she wanted to be in some fancy place. Well, that cost a fortune. And then where the profits were gone, you see, put the hard graft into it behind the scenes and it pays off. Even if it's at home that you're working on. I think, was it Paddington Bear? I think they was stuffed toys all over the house, and they put the hard graft into it. And this is the difference between narcissists and us. What else could you do? Well, on the Udemy course, I sell these courses now, and I get about a fraction of a percent. I get about between 10-20% of the earnings. And they're in charge of how much they sell the course for, which is a bit of a shame because sometimes they put sales on and sometimes they reduce the price, and I don't make a tremendous amount of money from it, from what it's worth. Like I say, I get between like 200 to 1800 a month roundabouts, usually on the lesser side, but it's extra earnings. I also go out and I teach those lovely kids as well, maths, English, and a little bit of guitar. And it's wonderful. I thoroughly enjoy it. But what I'm doing now, and it's just something for you to think about too. Why? Because your finances have been ruined. Be Excuse me, burping. Because you're paying out for mortgages plus your own rent, because you're paying out for child maintenance, because your opportunities have been destroyed, because now you can't work because your prefrontal cortex is really fried. You find it hard to get up. You're having to maybe not perform so well. You've lost your job, or maybe you need to just revamp your life so that you can restructure and work in a way that suits you. Some days are shot to bits. I had a cake yesterday, uh, more than a slice or two. It was terrible. And a bacon sandwich, and it shot me to bits. You got to watch that kind of stuff. This is why I got bags under the eyes today, and I look a bit shot. So what you can do then is open up your own school. And there are different schools. Like I say, there's Allison.com, but then you have to pay them a fraction or a majority of the percentage. So you can then pay monthlies. If I've got two courses that work really well, I've got a maintenance course, guitar repair, and I've got a guitar setup course. So since both of those are popular, I'll keep the guitar maintenance course on Udemy, and then I'll bring people over onto my school, online school, which I'm setting up. And that online school will house my guitar repair setups course. And that way, even though I'm paying monthly for the school, I get everything from the guitar repair setups. And like I say, that sells really well. I've had to do the hard graft to see if it works. And yes, it does work. And that then it gives me monthly payments, which then I don't have to do anything about. I can then start working on other courses like the parental alienation course, which I'm putting together, and the narcissistic abuse course, which I'm building as well. And how am I building that? Well, when I do these fortnightly Saturday sessions, that's all based on the modules of the narcissistic abuse and the parental alienation courses that I'll be doing online. This is the kind of thing that you can do. So anything that you put your time into, make it count for something else as well. Otherwise, it's just wasted time. So what I'm talking about is you've been devastated with your, I know, I've been there. Oh, I've been there so many times. I've given myself to other people. I've given my time to other people. I've given my resources to other people. And it's been at the detriment of me. And I thought, well, that's loving, but it's not really loving to yourself because they turn around and they're not grateful for it. You know, and they'll make it seem like they are, first of all, like you're doing this for a good cause. But when push comes to shove, they'll throw you under the bus massively. They have. I mean, like, I'm studying to be a narcissistic abuse trauma informed coach up to a master's degree. Well, I'm having to do that because I'm now working independent to help people, to coach people back into a healthy position and to teach people what they're actually involved in when it comes to narcissistic abuse and parental alienation. And I want to do this properly. I get to practice my coaching, even though I've worked for years on this. I get to refine the coaching. This is for other people's safety and well-being, so that when people come to me, then they know that they're actually getting something that's trained, that's been practiced, that's been honed. The skills have been honed for them, and this is why I built up a website as well, which is called thepowerandcontrolwheel.co.uk. My social media at the Power and Control Wheel. The Twitter X is Power Control. So all of that is registered, and here I am, a real trained trainee coach up to master's degree, to put myself out there for people who don't know me, to help them who have been narcissistically abused, either as family scapegoat abuse or as maybe in workplace abuse. I know both of those very well. Or as being alienated. I know that too. I'm one of the alienated children, although a bit adult now, getting on in the years. I don't know where that time's gone. And also, my children were alienated from me as well. So I understand this and I survived it. And I got my life together and I built these little extra ways of earning. I even set up a cleaning business. It was Poppins Cleaners. And that was back in what, 2015, I think. You can look that up. Well, I'm fine with that. I don't live there anymore, so you can't stalk me, people. There's been a lot of stalkers. And so you set up your initiative. You just, the bad people out there will exploit people, but you yourself, you don't have to tell people how much you're earning or anything. You can do this. And this is what I'm encouraging you to do. I had a national award winners award for making the most progress with unemployed people. This was a European Funds Award. It was based on that, but and this was like in competition with the DWP, which also I was helping just recently, but now I can't do that either. There's so much bad that these people do because they hoard what they believe to be clients, is in my own opinion, that is. But the thing is, right, is your life has been destroyed. You're paying for child maintenance, but you're also paying additional because that's what you do as a loving parent. You want to take your children out if you have got access to them, or you pay a little extra, you put money into their bank accounts just because you love them, you want the best for them, even though that's benefiting the other person. You're doing it because for the right reasons. And that leaves you totally financially in a mess. Maybe you're trying to save up because you're trying to get a place with 2 or 3 bedrooms so that you can then show the courts that you have a place for your children to stay, maybe to get off the couch of your parents' home or your friend's home or out of the car. All of these little bitty things you can do, and you can do this using your own phone. What little bitty things? You can set up a course, you can set up businesses, you can set up PayPal accounts, you can function online. Please don't think that you can set up a YouTube channel and make money from that. They don't pay a huge amount. Use the YouTube channel to tell people maybe about what happened, or if it's for earning a living, to tell people what you do. To build trust, to build a community. And it's lovely here. We're building a really lovely community. It's a nice community. I like this community that we've got. They're honest people. And this is where we can pass ideas and information to each other. We can say, this is who we are. I put myself in front of the camera. This is who I am. It was doing this took an awful lot, because now I use my real name. Now my kids can see me. But the thing is, I'm being genuine, I'm being honest, I'm being open, I'm being out there so that you can see who I am. I'm not going to hide anymore. I used to hide behind a shadow, but everything that I do now, I can do it with genuineness for you, for myself, for my children as well. And I'll be honest with you, not long ago, I opened up to my son, because we see each other now. He's a man. And I fell in love with him all over again, because rather than criticize me for the first time in a long time, so I set a boundary and I said, that's not going to happen anymore. And I had to go no contact, scary as that was. But then he had to go through some development as well. He had things that had been done to him, which is not fair. And he was forced to have to go through all of this wake up. And then together, we came together in a new relationship. I can teach you how that happens. I can teach you what all that looks like. I can tell you, you don't have to pay for it. Just contact me at support@thepowerandcontrolwheel.co.uk. If you want further help, then yeah, you can pay for some coaching. But I know you've not got a lot of money on that. I had Anushka Marcin help me. I was paying her 20 quid an hour. Thinking, heck, she's a trained clinical psychologist in training at the time. And she even gave me some free time as well, because she knew I needed that. I couldn't afford it. And this is one of my ways of giving back as well. Lise Colucci on there, she gives a tremendous amount of her time online. We tune in, she's there. And the same with Angie Atkinson and Dana Morningstar. They were all there just helping us all out for free. But then they said, look, if you want some coaching, then we'll do that too. And then some people were asking, saying, hey, if you want some coaching, and others were saying, you're charging people? Well, we've got to pay our bills somehow. And so we bring that in. But this is what you can do. Take what you know, whatever it is that you know, and honestly, genuinely make some extra additional earnings out of that, and do some of it for free. I think it's Dr. Romani said, sometimes, you can give just do it for an apple pie. I'd love an apple pie. A bit of ice cream on the side on a summer's day is great, or just as it is. Not just yet, because I've just had a cake. But you can do this kind of stuff. And the reason I'm harping on about it is because I'm invested in you. I want you to get out of this narcissistic abuse, to get back on your feet, to do something for yourself. You'll find it very difficult doing a day-to-day normal job, that routine, because it's really hard to function. It's so hard to function. And many of you have lost your jobs because your DBS has been affected. There's all these kind of things, and you've got to get yourself right, or get you on your feet on the ground. And even if you struggle doing it, do it. Put that time aside, and then you'll find that your self-esteem, your self-confidence builds up as well. And that then kind of feeds itself. It gets some momentum. You still get those bad days, but yet you still get up and You do what it is that you can do as you can do it, and you invest that time into yourself. It's doable. You can get back on your feet. You can survive this. And not to use the pun, you do have that power with you. You have that control within you as well. You are the one that can control this, that you have are the ability to get up, to get out, to start using that phone, to start getting on, doing those tweets, to use that internet as a technology, as a tool. Use it. Use AI to your advantage as a tool. I know AI can be a little bit, and so can all kinds of tools. They can be used for good, they can use for bad. You can use these tools for your benefit. Set up your own PayPal, do it, whatever. Get training courses, put that together, write a book. Use Karma in Cumbria. Right, Karma's a thing. Karma's a real thing, I believe. And write your poetry and make something out of it. Set up a podcast if you don't want to show your face. Create animations. Do whatever it is that you do. And you don't earn straight away, usually off. Maybe it builds up bit by bit. And that first payment that you get, my first payment was like £2 something for a guitar repair course. And I was ecstatic. It was £2. And then it gradually built up bit by bit. I would love to know that you're actually doing these kind of things. You can do this. You can set up. Like I said, that was a limited company that I set up. I didn't know how to do it, but I built it bit by bit. And then it won a big national award. I didn't put myself forward for that. They did it, and I had no idea that they did it. Even when I was in school and I wrote like £250,000 grant application, for a global project. There's like 7 international countries that got involved and a community. I just went out and I searched, I found, I looked, where were the answers? If there are problems, I went around those problems, and that won a big national award as well. That was the point I was getting at. And I got that award at the Oval Cricket Club. I wasn't looking for it. And then because of that, I was given an assistant head teacher's role at the school that I was at. I didn't apply for that role. I didn't even want that role. I actually said, "Do I have to do it?" They said, "Well, we'd like you to." Okay. So you just do you. And you just do you. It's like Ruth in the Bible as well. Ruth just did a good job. She wasn't out for gain. She wasn't out for her own self-interest. She just wanted to do a good job. So what Ruth did, she just carried on doing out there in the farm, and then she was rewarded for it. And they saw that, within her was a genuineness, and there was this warmth and love that came out of that. She ended up marrying the king, or the king married her, or the prince, or whoever it was. She wasn't looking for that. People who look for that, people who exploit, damage comes to you. It gets destroyed. But then you'll turn around and you'll blame the other person. Or when the other person has just had good intent. Just keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, maybe think about Udemy. Maybe contact me if you want. Free chat just to get you started, some advice. I'm happy with that. No problem. Or if you want me to work with you, I can do that too. And you'll get your money's worth. You'll get that extra time. You'll get that person who is interested in you and your well-being with the good intent. You'll get that. Okay. So if you want to get a hold of me, like I say, it's for general inquiries, info@thepowerandcontrolwheel.co.uk. Or if you would need that support, it's support@thepowerandcontrolwheel.co.uk. Or to pop onto the website, which is www.thepowerandcontrolwheel.co.uk. Or if you want to go on any other social media, at the Power and Control Wheel. The what am I missing? X, Twitter is Power Control. Get a hold of me. I'm more than happy to chat with you. And other people, they'll tell you, if other people are listening to this and you want to comment down below, that people know I've given my time freely to people. I'm not I'm not fundraising or any of that. I'm not asking for other people's money. I mean, I was giving money to people, turning around, seeing that they're using it for holidays, and then embarrassing people who aren't helping them out. can't say anything about that, but this is what happens. Use your hard graft. And if you're not quite sure how to do it, then ask people or get in touch with me. Anyway, can you please, I think this is a very important video to actually get out there to, so if you like, share, subscribe, share it, subscribe, get those numbers up, comment below, even your ideas to say what you do for extra income as well, because these people have devastated you. And it's very hard for you to then escape these narcissistically abusive relationships without the other person knowing what you're doing. So you need ways to be able to hide what you're doing. And you can do that. I had to, and I did, and I escaped on a few occasions, different things. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll say ta-ra, and I'm going to go out now for my walk, a bit of a joggy walk, and try and get rid of these bags under the eyes as well. So earlier nights for Kev, early nights for Kevy. And so keep a sense of humor as well, all right? But keep genuine and keep real. Keep a sense of humor and keep eating well, because otherwise it devastates you. I'm feeling that from yesterday, man. But that's okay. We don't shame ourselves. Ta-ra. Love you very much. Take care of yourselves. I care. I do care. Take care of yourselves, all right? Stay close to God if you choose to, and I hope you do. And I'll see you next time. All the very best. Where is that off button? There it is. Bye.